3 games left, 3 teams at top of the table, level on points. 3 teams have confirmed their playoff places, and realistically, 5 teams are going for 3 more places. Eddie Hemmings and Adrian Morley in the studio. Eddie, I'll start with you. What an end to the season we're going to have, whatever happens.
Absolutely, and what a season we have had, to be fair. You know, we love the word jeopardy, don't we, in sport? And we have had jeopardy from day one. You know, will it be Saints 5 in a row? Will Wigan do it? Catalan, suddenly a breath of fresh air. Lee winning the Challenge Cup. Lee in the playoffs. Fantastic season, brilliant season. And the last 3 weeks, I mean, it's going to be, well, it's anyone's guess. Anyone's guess who's going to win the League Leaders' Shield. Anyone's guess who's going to get into the last 3 or 4 remaining places in the playoffs. And who on earth is going to take the big drop. It's been fantastic from start to finish, it really has.
And I mentioned 5 realistically because I think you can discount, obviously, Huddersfield and Hull now, can't you?
I think so. They will be disappointed.
I mean, they need snookers, basically.
Yeah, they do. And well, they need the others to drop off the perch, don't they, ahead of them. And I think Leeds are probably in the same boat.
I don't think they're far off, unfortunately.
No, Leeds have come good, but too late, in my opinion.
What's happened to Leeds? 4 points behind the playoffs. Just been too inconsistent, your old club, haven't they?
They have, and last year was a fantastic finish for their season. To make the grand final is a huge achievement anyway. This year they promised so much and produced very little, really. You mentioned inconsistency there. That's been their problem. Great one week, poor the next, and they have give themselves an outside chance, but you're right, it is just an outside chance. They do need snookers, as you say, and I can't see Leeds making the playoffs, to be fair. And for a club as big as Leeds and to have the success what they've had over the years, for them not to make the playoffs after making the grand final last year.
Still in
theory, you know, you've got to say it's been a really disappointing year from the Rhinos.
And quickly, another one of your old clubs, Warrington. What a roller coaster that's been. What a start. Then, what was it, 7 on the bounce, and now they've won 2 on the bounce, and they look very, very good in the second half against Castleford at the weekend.
Yeah, having started so well, it could have been Warrington's year, but then they had that.
Still could be.
That almighty, no, that they could, you know, that they could be the dark horses to go all the way. And you know,
they seem to them, even when they were 8 from 8 at the start of the season, they weren't saying like we were saying.
They weren't playing particularly well.
Year.
No, you're right. They were winning, but weren't playing particularly well. And then they got found out, you know, having that disastrous run of defeats. Darryl Powell's obviously moved on now, and they have. You know, I'm a big fan of Chambo, and you know, he's reinvigorated the boys, and to have a win just to settle the ship, really. But then they had a really confidence boosting victory against Castleford. That'll do the guys the world a good running all them points. And it's going to be tough for Salford to go there on Sunday, but Warrington are in a good place at the moment, in the top 6, and you know, having everyone written them off, they've nothing to lose now, and as I say, they could be dark horses.
They did say even if they make the 6th, if and when they make the 6th, they'll give it a shake and they'll have a really, really good go. Leeds won it from 5th.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Twice, don't forget.
Yeah.
Warrington,
they've got the players.
They've got the players. As you say, Gary Chambers, they had that fantastic second half at the weekend. Mind you, Castleford looked awful, I must say. You know, they really did. They shipped so many points in. That could be crucial for them come the end of the season. But Warrington looked red hot. And it's up to them now. If they get 3 wins, who knows where they finish.
Right, let's talk about the games from round 24. Starting with the live Sky game on Friday night. It was Wigan 26, Salford 8. Right, Eddie, 33 minutes gone. This was 4-4. Then at half-time, it was 20 to Wigan, 4 to Salford. Including a try after the hooter, which never would have happened.
No, it shouldn't, but... I mean, listen.
Great run by Jay Field, by
well, we're talking Wigan, aren't we? We're talking a team that knows how to win, knows how to win cups, knows how to win grand final. You know, they went to Perpignan the week before, 34-0, staggered the entire Super League with that victory there. Then they took on Salford. Abbas Miski, what a bonus he has been for Wigan this year. You've got Liam Farrell, you've got the other Liam Marshall, and you've also got Harry Smith. Key men in their side, to say nothing of Bevan French and Jay Field. Listen, Wigan could win the League Leaders' Shield and Wigan could go all the way and pip them all.
Moz, if you'd have been in that Salford team, you'd have been furious conceding a try from a penalty.
Yeah, they just switched off, didn't they? But to go into half time, you're right, when you were equal with your opponents, 4-4 with 30 odd minutes to go on, to go in, that was probably what sealed the victory for Wigan. And Paul Rowley, in his assessment after the game, was very honest. He said, look, we weren't at the races today, we can play a lot better, and it's really disappointing because before that Salford had strung a couple of wins together, and they went there, I felt, with the chance of winning, confident, and it wasn't to be. But it's back to the drawing board for Salford. But Wigan keeping the roll going, keeping the form going, keeping the momentum going, and they're the form team in Super League at the moment.
Yeah, Wigan top of the table, Eddie, and as well 2 strong defensive displays as well. Obviously, they kept Salford to 8, and as you mentioned a week before in Catalan, they nilled Catalan. The Wigan defence is coming good at the right time, isn't it?
They are, and again, they've been a little bit inconsistent, as they all have. And they've been inconsistent because we've got the situation we've got with 3 teams vying for the League Leaders' Shield. So there's been inconsistency throughout the competition. But when the chips are down, the Wigans and the Saints, and usually the Leeds, but maybe not this year, as we've already said, they know how to get the job done. We were all delighted that we had a new name on the Challenge Cup this year in the Lee Leopards. We were all rubbing our hands when I was last here saying, this could be the year when we get a different name on the Super League trophy. Well, Catalan are still in there hanging in. There's Hull Kingston Rovers. Warrington, will it be their year, as we've already said? But you've got to have quality at this end of the season. And you've got to shake off the inconsistency and keep it going. And Wigan, at the moment, are doing exactly that. And their defence, as you say, magnificent.
Let's talk Catalan. It was Hull Cow 26, Catalan 18. That's back-to-back defeats now for Catalan. I'm not about to say the wheels have fallen off, but Steve McManara must be a bit worried. I mean, awful timing, isn't it?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, they had a 4-point lead a fortnight ago, and now they're third in the table. They've dropped off a bit. What I will say, and I spoke to Steve McNamara at some length a week or two ago for our podcast. He says, and you can't take this away from him, they have the most difficult job in Super League.
Is he catching up with them, man?
No, I don't think so, because he is used to it being with the New Zealand Warriors. He was doing 2, 3, 4-hour flights every other week over in New Zealand, so he was able to bring that culture into Catalan when he got there. But they train less, they sleep less, they travel more than anyone else in this competition. I mean, this last weekend, Perpignan Airport apparently was closed. They had a private jet and they were going home early. They're going to get a good night's sleep and crack on for the match this weekend. Perpignan Airport shut. They're diverted to Montpellier. It's 2.5 hours away by road. They had to ring up and get coaches and all that sort of thing organised. They lost another night's sleep. I mean, it is a difficult job for the Catalan Dragons, and hats off to them that they are where they are in the table. All the Super League clubs say, oh, they go once, twice. We've got to travel for 2 hours.
Yeah.
They do it week after week after week, and they've had, I think I'm right in saying, 5 or 6 of the last 9 away from home.
Yeah, and a lot of injuries this term as well.
Loads of injuries.
Having said that, though, Eddie, it's not affected them at the start of the year, has it?
No.
They've been absolutely fantastic. The most consistent, best team up until the last 2 weeks. I think this is just a bit of a blip at the moment. Every team goes through a bit of a form drop, and I just think that's it. I mean, it was uncharacteristic defeat against Wigan. The fact it was such a high scoring 40-odd nil at home. You very rarely see that scoreline. And then Hull are playing well at home. They've got a lot to play for, so you can understand that another loss there. But I don't think they're in a huge amount of difficulty. I think they'll bounce back. And I think they'll be there in the playoffs and they'll give it a good shake-up.
What about Hull KR 6? That was a big performance. They've actually improved since the Challenge Cup.
They have, and it goes to show they've not got a Challenge Cup hangover anymore. They've had a couple of great victories, and to beat the top of the table Catalan Dragons at home, it was a fantastic victory. It looked very intense, the game, and it's just getting every team ready for the playoffs, which we do know step up a level in intensity. But great win for Hull KR, and that just cements their place in the 6th. They can't take the foot off the gas now, but they're in a really good position at the moment. So they'll be tough. It's always a tough place to go to, Hull KR, and if and when they do make the playoffs, they're a match for anyone, really.
And the final game on Friday night was Lee Leopards versus Huddersfield. Well, it started on Friday night, finished on Sunday. I know you've been on a few golf trips that started on a Friday and finished on a Sunday. I don't suppose you played in a match that started on a Friday and finished on a Sunday.
No, a few stag do's, but never a game. But I've been talking to Eddie about that. I think that was the fairest way to
do you think it was the right decision?
I do. I mean, you played 48 minutes.
I think you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, and if you play at this stage of the year, to play another 80 minutes when the players have already played...
They couldn't play midweek.
Well, I don't think that any of the teams would want to. I know Huddersfield complained most about the decision to play another 32 minutes, but I thought it was the right call. Get on with it and see where it goes. And you know, the fact that Lee were winning when the game did get abandoned, they was in a better position, and ultimately they got 2 points, and probably it did end Huddersfield's assault for the playoffs. But yeah, it's bizarre. We've never known that in rugby league, and probably the history of the sport, for a game to be abandoned and then to play another 30 minutes a couple of days later. But yeah, that just goes to add to another, the crazy season we've had is just another
Was it
twist.
the most sensible decision?
I think so, absolutely. The laws apparently say if the game is abandoned after an hour, the result stands.
Yeah.
Now, they were 12 minutes
minutes
short of that, weren't they, or thereabouts? Have I got the maths right? I think
Yeah.
I have. You're right, they couldn't play a midweek game at this stage of the season because it would then compromise what's going to happen in the playoffs. So I think the correct decision was they got together and they said, look, should we just come back? I can't understand why the floodlights failed. Leigh Sports Village is one of the best stadiums we've got in the Super League at the moment. I remember when they first came up and we were at Hilton Park, which was falling down, and the floodlights failed that night on their big night back in the Super League. But they got the game going because somebody went in. I don't know what he did. He either put a shilling in the meter or he threw some petrol in on the generator. There was an almighty bang and smoke came out of the hut. But the lights came on and we had the match.
Old school.
Good old school. You're right. But I mean, it could only happen in rugby league, couldn't it? But a virtually brand new stadium, state of the art stadium. Derek's got all his groups going on there. He's got lights, he's got fireworks, and God knows what else. And then the floodlights fail on him. But a great decision at the end of the day. You could not replay it over the next 3 weeks with everything that's going on.
And the plus side for Lee, let's just concentrate. They got the 2 points, and I think it was crucial after the 2 games of the Challenge Cup that Lee got back on it, Eddie, and got that win and basically got 1 foot in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a year to remember for Lee already, isn't it, with the Wembley win and being in the top 6. A look at what's to come for them. They've got St Helens away on Friday. They've got Wakefield at home and they've got Wigan at home. Now, that's a tough last 3. Wigan and Saints, you would say, is going to maybe...
They just need to win one of the 3 to get in the playoffs.
They need to beat Wakefield at home. They do that, they do Castleford a favour, But Wakefield at home, for Lee, it's winnable. I think that one is winnable for them. And bar the shouting, they're in, aren't they? Aren't they 6 points clear of the field?
Well, they could get in without winning another game.
Yeah, so long as the results aren't like Castleford's against Warrington on the weekend. But yeah, I mean, what we talked earlier about what a season this has been.
What Challenge Cup and playoffs is
season it's
brilliant.
been for the Leopards. He rebranded them at the start of the season.
They've already beat St Helens. They've already beat St Helens this year.
They have. I was
league,
there.
So well, they'll go in that game confident, and they beat Wigan.
You would say at this stage of the season, though, Adrian, Wigan and Saints would be strong favourites.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They've got the pedigree, haven't they?
I think they'll target Wakefield at home. I think that'll see them there.
Saturday, Hull FC 12, Leeds 18. We touched on it at the beginning of the show. 2 really inconsistent sides. Leeds coming out on top, but just been a disappointing season, hasn't it?
Oh, but hugely disappointing. Leeds, we spoke about them last year. Promised a great deal this year. Having a great run to the grand final, and then they've been utterly up and down and very poor. And I know Gary Etherington well, and he won't accept a mediocre season there at Leeds. So there's going to be some changes, whether that's players or coach. But I think there'll be a few axes wielded at the end of this year.
And then Warrington beat Castleford, which we touched on, at 66-12. That's £200 for Warrington. They looked nervous in the first half, though, didn't they?
They did a bit.
I know it's a great scoreline, but it looked nervous in the first half.
Yeah, you can understand why, because whenever they turn out to the Halliwell Jones, the pressure is on.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. And we've all been talking about them this year. You know, they had a wonderful start. They fell in a heap. Darryl Powell goes. You know, pressure's on. Gary Chambers, was it 2 matches now? Won 1, lost 1. But what a win that was. What
Won
a
the last
win.
2 now, yeah.
He's won the, well, he's been there 3 times, sorry. So he's won the last 2 on the bounce and he lost the first one. That was a great win for Castleford. If they need anything to get their energy going again and get their confidence up, to run in 60-odd points, even against Castleford, who were pretty poor, confidence is fantastic. Just going back to Leeds, Blake Austin, off he goes to Cass. The halfbacks are in a mess. Caesar's going, Austin's gone. You know, I think they're losing Tetivano as well, aren't they? Didn't I read that yesterday? Tetivano is going. That's not Leeds. Leeds don't operate like that. Leeds are normally knocking on the door now of the playoffs. And for us to be saying that the Leeds Rhinos aren't going to make the 6 this year, I think it's a major surprise.
So Castleford, Hull at home, Wigan away, Leeds away. And then Wakefield, who lost to St Helens, Catalans at home, Lee away, Hull KR at home. Right, Wakefield 16, St Helens 32. St Helens have come a cropper to Wakefield in the past, but you have got 2 home games.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the bottom of the table, you'd think Cass are still favourites to stay up, but you know, Wakefield, they've had a few surprise results. I don't know. It's a really tough one. They just need to find a win. I think if they get 1 win, I think they'll stay up, and Castleford will go down. But it's going to be tough. They do play particularly well at home, while they have been doing Wakefield. But it was no surprise that Saints went there and got the win. You know, you mentioned before, they just like timed the run and they just got it in the DNA that it's nearly playoff time. They'll just start turning up the pressure, and they could even finish top, couldn't they? St Helens, looking at the position there. But going back to Wakefield, I think they're favourites to go down.
Saints, obviously, we're talking about them a lot this season, but I think that's 8 Super League wins on the bounce now.
Here we go again, 5th straight title.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a remarkable story, and well done to Paul Wellens and all the rest of the coaching staff at Saints if it comes off. They took the big gamble of going to Australia at the start of the season, and they suffered a little bit from that earlier on. We've written them off so many times, St Helens, but you know, they're coming home with a wet sail, are the Saints. You know, as I say, how many times have we written them off? You know, Tommy Makinson, sensational form. Sione Matautia playing really well, has done all season. Johnny Lomax, and let us not forget James Roby.
In his
James
final season.
Roby's last season. Remember what happened with Leeds when all the boys disappeared? James Roby's final. It's written in the stars. Derek Beaumont talked about serendipity at Wembley. Maybe this is St Helens' moment where things are just panning out for them, and Roby will go off and go out a winner. And
2 months ago, we were discussing: is there an issue at St Helens? Is there a problem at St Helens?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I don't think anyone would say that it would not be right that Roby goes out of this game a winner, apart from the teams that they play in the playoffs and the grand final, of course. But somebody once said, never write off the Saints. And I wouldn't write them off this year.
Right, we'll talk round 25 in a moment, but we had live Rugby League here on the Sportsman on Sunday as Doncaster took a step closer to the playoff final by beating Oldham in League One. Oldham have got a second bite of a cherry against North Wales on Sunday. You can watch that game here live on the Sportsman. Oldham versus North Wales Crusaders. Oldham legend Mike Ford is at the helm at Boundary Park. Here's what he had to say ahead of a massive week for his side.
But next week, like I said, we're at Boundary Park. We've got a 4 weeks preparation in terms of getting out there to the public. It's our second game there, so we're a little bit know how things work. We need a big crowd there. We need support behind us. It's our last home game of the season, so we want to finish, off the season, have a chance to go in that, the week after, which will be a semi-final and then a final. So, yeah, we're excited about playing at Boundary Park, but, Paul, we can't just use that as the reason. We're going to have to prepare well. We're going to have to prepare better. Like I said, I'll take full responsibility for this game. We're not going to just think we're going to turn up at Boundary Park and win because we're at home. We'll get beat. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it, obviously, but it's win or go home.
Oldham versus North Wales live on a Sportsman. You can watch that after the live Channel 4 game. So watch the live Channel 4 game and then watch some League One playoff action here on the Sportsman. But make sure you hit that subscribe button.
You're watching the Sportsman Rugby League,
the home of Rugby League online.
Subscribe for exclusive live games from the Betfred Women's Super League and Challenge Cup.
Right, good luck to all the teams that are starting the playoffs in League One. It's the business end of the season, of course. We're going to be showing the League One playoff final as well. We'll have all the build-up to the wheelchair final as well, the women's grand final, and the playoff game in the championship as well. We'll have all the build-up here on the Sportsman. But let's turn our attention to round 25 and live on Sky. On Friday night, it's St Helens versus the Lee Leopards. Yeah, so that's live on Sky on Friday night, St Helens versus Lee. Eddie and Lee have not won at St Helens since 1982, but it's a very different Lee Leopards. Well, they've got a new name for one.
Well, they've got a new name, and they've certainly got a new brand of rugby league that they're playing in 2023. There's no doubt about that. Wembley has taken a bit out of them, I think. They've lost a little bit of momentum in the Super League, but they've got the players who can turn this around for them. Lachlan Lamb, I think he's got to be, hasn't he, a candidate for the Steve Prescott Man of Steel?
Oh, yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah.
Josh Charnley, about to wrap the game up.
He was going to jack it in.
And he's he second in the try-scoring chart?
Yeah. Zach Hardacre playing so well.
Has been rejuvenated. Well done to Adrian Lamb. There's another candidate for Coach of the Year, surely, after what has been achieved this year. But it's at St Helens. And St Helens, as we said earlier on, they've now got the bit between their teeth. It's going to be very difficult for Lee. I think it'll be a good game. I really do. Lee plays some smashing stuff, but that history stretching back to 1982, it's a long, long time, isn't it, since Lee last won at Saints.
And St Helens, level on points, will also be thinking, let's try and win the regular season shield as well.
Oh, definitely. They'll go out the next 3 games to win them and see where they end up in the table. But I think this is a great game for Lee as well. I think this is going to be an intensity that they've not had before. It's going to be another step, but they're going to face Saints or a team like Saints in the playoffs. So I think this is going to be, it's going to knock up another few levels, and we'll see, if Lee have got the minerals to actually shake up the Super League. But it's going to be a great game. I think Saints will be favourites because they are vying for that first spot in the Super League. But Lee have surprised a few this year. It's going to be a great game.
Prediction time.
I think Saints close. Only 2 or 4 points in it, but I think Saints.
Saints by a good margin.
Okay.
Sorry to say for Derek and Lee, but by a good margin. And Adrian, I mean, he knows more than I do. He'd probably be right.
It's been a breath of fresh air, Lee, though. They've been brilliant this year, Lee. Right, Wakefield Catalans. Catalans have won the last 12 against Wakefield.
They have, and Wakefield's salvation has come in their home form. They've played really well at home. This is a massive game for Wakefield, it really is. They will be rubbing their hands, the fact that Catalan had such a difficult trip home on the weekend, lost a night's sleep, as I say, struggling all the time with their training. We're enjoying a heat wave here in the UK at the moment. Catalan deal with that all the way through the summer. You would hope that Catalan will come and will show their credentials, but Wakefield, a desperate team, will be fighting tooth and nail. They know one more win, with the points difference between themselves and Castleford now just 6. So it's a try and a goal, that's all. And that could mean the drop or survival for Wakefield. They're desperate. I think they've got 3 grand finals to come, Wakefield and Castleford.
Yep.
This is the first one. But you would think Catalan, with all their class, so long as they've got over the jet lag and so long as they've got some of their stars back, they should be too strong. But who knows?
Well, if they're going to be contenders for the grand final and ultimately win it,
and they've lost 200 pounds, so Steve McNamara will be telling them to get back on it.
Catalans have to get back on the arse, and they need to be winning. The games like Wakefield away. Wakefield, lot to play for. The players are going to be desperate, but that desperation, and it only lasts so long. And I think the muscle memory from Catalan Dragons, what they had at the start of the year, will be too big and too strong for Wakefield. I think Catalans will win.
Huddersfield versus Hull KR. Huddersfield have won the last 5 at home to Hull KR.
I mean, Hull KR have got a little bit of momentum coming into the back end of the season right now.
Huddersfield realistically know it's over.
Yes, they do. What do they say in the Premier League? They're on the beach.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're on the beach at the end. They might be on the beach in Bridlington, but they won't be on the beach just now. But, I mean, it's. I love Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, he's been brilliant this season. Another Man of Steel
another
contender.
Possibility for Man of Steel. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Sean Kenny Dowell. They play some fantastic stuff, and I think I'm right in saying that they've got a couple of home games. Adrian mentioned just before, it's quite a place to go. Hull Kingston Rovers, if they pack that stadium for their home games, they're breathing down the neck of the opposition. They frighten the opposition to death. I wouldn't back against Hull KR.
At Huddersfield on this occasion, Hull KR. So
Yeah. I just think the fact that Huddersfield have not much to play for anymore. It comes down to the personal pride of the performances of the players. And it's whether they can get up. Hull KR have got a lot more to play for. They want to keep the form going, keep the momentum going. So I think Hull KR are going to go there as favourites. I think they'll get the job done. And disappointing year from the Huddersfield Giants, but I can't see them getting the win.
And finally on Friday, Castleford versus Hull. Obviously a huge game for Castleford.
Huge game for Castleford, and if you look at all the teams you want to be playing, Hull would be right up there because they've nothing to play
then they've
for.
got Wigan away and Leeds away.
Right, yeah. Well,
so they've got to win this one, haven't they?
You'd think this one would be the one they're going to go for. So Castleford know if they do get the win, that they're safe, virtually. So I think.
Well, I'm not so sure this season,
Right now, no, you never know.
If they get the win, they double the problem for Wakefield, don't they?
You do, yeah.
They've then got to win 2 out of the last 3, and they've not been winning 2 out of the last 5 or 6.
Which would be Lee away and Hull KR at home.
You mentioned Hull KR, a really tough place to go. Well, Weldon Road, the jungle is equally as.
But you're right. If they win, you'd expect that to be enough. If Wakefield lose,
I think the Cass faithful are going to get behind Cass. They're going to create a fortress, and I think Cass will get the win.
They can't play as badly as they did last week.
No,
that's for sure.
No.
Well, it could go down to point difference as well, couldn't
that's
it?
what we said. 6 points at the minute. It's tight. Top and bottom. Fantastic.
Yeah. No, it certainly is. Then on Saturday, live on Sky, it's Leeds versus Wigan.
Great work from Liam Farrell. That is Jay Field at his best.
Yes, live on Sky on Saturday afternoon when they met at Headingley in the Challenge Cup. Wigan won 18-14. How do you see this one on Sky on Saturday, Eddie?
It's a blue ribbon fixture, isn't it? It always is.
Yeah.
Leeds and Wigan. It is a glamour tie of any Super League season. It's a big one for both because we have written Leeds off. If Leeds beat Wigan, they're back in the mix. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Wigan
can end Leeds' season.
Or Wigan will finish Leeds off for 2023. And Wigan, Saints and Catalan are chasing that league leader shield. And it's not just a shield. I mean, it used to be called the hubcap, which was really derogatory, but it meant nothing. But I remember when it all first started, Maurice Lindsay said, we're not going to do a big razzmatazz presentation of a league leader shield because it takes away what's going to come.
That's why
in the
I
playoffs.
presented it the last 7 years.
Right.
You see. It means
well,
nothing.
it's always a big night when you presented them, Mark, but it takes away a little bit from the grand final at Old Trafford.
Look, the grand finals are most important. But I was at Cass in 2017 when they won the League Leader Shield.
What a night that was.
And I know St Helens would love to win the League Leader Shield, and Catalan would.
Because top and second get home matches, semi-final, and they've got a chance of getting to Old Trafford in 80 minutes. It's a bit different from 3 to 6.
There's the prestige as well, you know, before the grand final, if you finished top, you were classed as champions, weren't you? And it still gets written in the programmes, you know, league leaders, whatever year, so it's still, you know, people still want to win the league leaders, don't worry about that.
So who wins Saturday then?
It's a tough one because, you know, Leeds have been...
You hate going against your old side. Come on, who wins Saturday?
Really inconsistent Leeds, but when they get it right, they can beat anyone on the day. And I think
I was at Wigan when they won at Wigan.
Right, yeah, with
and they were
12
losing.
men.
Yeah.
Well,
they were brilliant that night.
I think
and then they lost the following week in the Challenge Cup to Wigan.
They're going to be up for this. There's a glimmer of hope that they can make the playoffs. They just need to win. And I think they're going to be up for it. I think it's going to be a great game. I think Leeds are going to sneak it. I don't really.
You talked yourself into that.
I don't know what he's going to do on Sunday when 2 of his former clubs play each other. Right, Leeds-Wigan, quickly, Eddie. We're running out of time.
Leeds-Wigan, well, I think Leeds will want to put a full stop on this year, and to beat Wigan would be the perfect way. Having said that, we've talked about the incentive for Wigan to get top of the table, home semi-finals. I think Wigan will go there and win. Unless Leeds name 12 men in the side. And then they played brilliantly,
at the
DW.
They did. Right, Sunday, live on Channel 4, Salford Red Devils versus Warrington. Right, Salford obviously slipped out of the top 6. This is a massive game. Warrington just need probably, one more win?
Yeah.
Just to be sure.
If Salford don't win this game, I don't think they'll make the top 6. It's that serious and that big a game for Salford. It's a huge game. They need to go there and get a result. You know, the fact Warrington's in and around them, and you know, it doesn't help that Warrington had a fantastic win last week, but Salford need to go there and get a result. So, can they do it if the spine play as well as we know they can, if they get it right? I remember when they played the same fixture at Warrington earlier on in the year, the first half, Salford were untouchable. You know, they just scored in points for fun. They couldn't get near them. Second half was a different story, but they need to go there with a mindset. It's a must-win game. So if they do that, I think they've got to give themselves a chance. I think Salford will sneak it.
Oof. Well, it's an emotional day at Salford at the weekend because the great David Watkins has passed away this week. David Watkins, MBE. One of the icons of Salford in the 60s and 70s. Still a world record point scorer, still the world record, 92 consecutive games that he scored all those years ago. Wonderful man, the George Best of Rugby League back in the 60s when he switched codes. So it will be emotional at Salford, I'm sure, on Saturday. I think...
Sunday.
Sunday. I think that they just might get the job done for David and for the memories. It's a local derby. I mean, it's 5 minutes up the road from Warrington.
And then keep the playoff hopes alive.
And they keep themselves alive, and a tribute to the great man.
Gents, I've really enjoyed your company. Do you think after we get round 25 out of the way, are things still going to be clear or unclear? Are we still going to be talking about who's going to go down, who's going to be in the top 6? What do you think?
I think it'd probably be status quo somehow. I think it'll be as
going
tight,
down to wire this season,
as tight as that. It's going right down to the wire, down.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You know, you can't, even all the games we've predicted, if it goes the other way, you won't be surprised. And I think we're going to be looking at the table next week and having exactly the same conversation.
Yes, and definitely probably could be looking at points difference as well, couldn't we, this season? It's been a brilliant season. Don't forget, we've got that live game on Sunday as well. Oldham versus North Wales Crusaders. 3 o'clock kickoff. So you watch the game on Channel 4, Salford Red Devils, Warrington, and then watch here on The Sportsman. Eddie, Moz, thanks ever so much. See you next week.